feel or deepen the thick of really painful emotions.
So it definitely sounds like some of the key things for the grieving process are to allow yourself to feel the feelings, fully embrace them, and then also to be compassionate with how we talk to ourselves and not to rush ourselves along.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
It's completely individual. So
Mm-hmm.
go at your pace.
Mm-hmm.
Don't. No, I know it is hard because with the pressures of everyday life,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're a parent of a young child,
Mm-hmm.
you know, demands on you. So maybe you can't curl up in a ball and cry exactly at the moment that you want to, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe you can take 5 minutes to go into the bathroom and just do
Mm-hmm.
like energy practice or breath practice.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a cup of herbal tea that will support your nervous system. Um, and then you can, I think, like the biggest thing is acknowledging it. And if you can't deal with it in the moment, you've acknowledged it and you can come back to it later. But you haven't created resistance by trying to deny it or keep it at arm's length. So much of grief, I think, really just wants to be witnessed
Yeah.
and acknowledged and honored too. You know, traditionally there were, I think, way more rituals than we have now. So any sort of rituals, you know, I like to go out in nature and, um, you know, if you just need to, um, you know, like whisper what you want to say to someone, to a butterfly or to, you know, some moving water, and let it carry your message out to the world, and hopefully it will get to the heart of whoever you're trying to reach, if not on a physical level, on an energetic level. Um, so there are lots of different ways that you can help yourself aside from just trying to, you know, muscle through it.
Right. And I believe in the power of signs and how the universe is constantly interacting with us. But one of the viewers, Redette, she mentioned something about how it feels very lonely, and I'm sure she's speaking for a lot of people who grieve. And I know you have a grieving circle, so that could be helpful, and you could
Yeah,
talk about that.
I welcome anyone to come to Acupuncture Annie. There's a link in my bio to get the Zoom details. I do it once a month now. On the last, right now, I'm doing it on the last Tuesday of every month um, at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I actually have one tomorrow night, and it's usually a very small, intimate group. You don't have to have your camera on if you don't want to. Um, but it's a place I like to just invite people as there's so much, I call it a collective grief circle because there's so much unprocessed collective grief. But when you know, you open the news and something sorrowful has happened,
Yeah, yeah,
processed, sometimes it can be helpful just to go to a place where you can talk freely to say like, God, that mass shooting really, really threw me off balance this week. And to hear that other people are going through similar experiences, um, I sometimes will read maybe a poem that resonates or feels like I think like poetry is a good way to feel understood too, because this stuff is so universal and can be so beautifully expressed by songs or poems. Um, and then I may lead people through a few short self-care practices, as I was talking about, a little qigong or breath work to just kind of settle the nervous system so that, I mean, I think it is important to know that you really have to have a feeling of safety sometimes before it feels safe to acknowledge your feelings or feel your feelings. So sometimes the very first step is just to get grounded and get comfortable enough to notice what's going on, what signs your body might be giving you, tender places that need more attention. And then I go into, I let people settle into a comfortable place, and I start a guided meditation with some, um, I love singing bowls and tuning forks, and so I do a mini sound bath with a little guided meditation to lead people into a little more relaxed peaceful state where sometimes messages can come through. Sometimes, you just get a feeling of relaxation, or sometimes people fall asleep because they just are relaxing, and that's that's a very healthy response too. And sometimes I've had participants sometimes say that they heard from their inner child, they connected with a loved one in spirit, that they just got an image or a message that they felt came through for them. So I'm still getting used to the Zoom experience. It doesn't feel natural to me that like I'd love to be face to face and putting my singing bowl right on top of you so you can really feel the vibrations go through you. Um, but from the feedback I've gotten so far, as you know, energy is a field outside of time and space and physical presence. So um, it is possible to really connect through a screen and to feel some powerful effects, and to just feel less alone in the world when you see that other people too are being just as deeply affected by what's going on.
I think that's really beautiful, and I love what you said about using poetry and then getting back into the body. I feel because I can disconnect from my feelings sometimes, and then with poetry especially, it can articulate or tease out something that I feel, but I'm not able to put into words, and then I feel connected again. I love that you use that.
Right. Yeah, they can
Yeah,
crystallize. It can crystallize
yeah.
something for you. Or like the sound waves themselves. If you think of, I actually have for people who are interested, they can message me. I have a Spotify playlist that's
Mm,
2 hours long now and growing. That's all songs for grief. Um,
yeah.
Primarily, like it's not. I have other ideas for like heartbreak lists and stuff. This is more like when someone dies.
Right. Yeah.
But it can apply. The feelings can apply to other griefs as well. But if you think of just even not even like the words of a song necessarily, but the minor chords in certain
Right.
songs that just like tug at your heartstrings and help make it just kind of effortless to drop into that feeling of like, oh yeah, I am feeling some sadness, but compose this song obviously felt the same way, and um, it's a good way to sort of move through it, like dance with it. I think grief is something that um, because like grief is just a continuation of love in some form.
I
So
love that. Yeah.
I think it is a relationship that's ongoing. So rather than try and dismiss it, I prefer to just kind of, you know, create a relationship with your grief, and and be kind to yourself through it, and find ways that help you move through it, with a little more. You can even have fun with it sometimes, and there are grief yoga poses where you get to like express, if you're like moving through anger, um, or some of the uh, grief isn't just sadness. If you're especially in a strange situation, if you want to say something to someone who
Yeah.
can't, you
Yeah.
can say that to yourself, well, like moving energy through the body through a yoga pose or a stretch or even just punching a pillow, um, and that's a powerful way to just kind of acknowledge
Get
it
the
and let
energy
it
moving. Yeah.
get moving and let it go, rather
Yeah.
than it takes so much energy to suppress emotion,
Yes. Yes.
like to settle into muscle knots and the indigestion and the loop that keeps you awake at night, the recurring thoughts that stop you from sleeping. um, so I would say it's if you can find ways to ease into expressing your grief, it will really benefit. And you can come out, I don't want to say stronger, but you can find a new way of being in the world that has good aspects to it, and that's authentic and honest, rather than trying to pretend that you don't care about something or someone.
I love that. I just love, yeah, how you talk about, being present. I think that's the key, and then honoring all the feelings that we have. So when I post the replay later, I will post Annie's Instagram handle and some of the information she mentioned about the grieving circle, so that you can look that up. That's a beautiful offer. Thank you so much, Annie,
Thank you so much.
for being on this
Well,
IG Live. I learned so much from you.
oh,
Yeah,
thank you
yeah.
for seeing this connection, because it's so a part of my mission now is to make it safe to talk about grief, because I think we're all feeling it on some level. So
Yes.
this is of service to whoever hears it, and just know that you're not alone.
Yeah, I feel many of us feel kind of robbed of experiences during the whole lockdown thing, and that's a whole grief thing in its own right. But I'm sure we're gonna do. I can just feel we're probably gonna do another IG live together, so we'll save it for the next one. Yeah,
Yeah, there's
yeah,
not too much here, and your work with the black sheep, because it's so hard to move through life putting labels on yourself, or
mm-hmm.
feeling that label, and feeling the longing for something to change. So thank you for the work you do and helping people flip that around and find the empowerment in that.
Yes, and thank you for that, and thank you for the people that showed up live. Thank you, Redette, for being here and giving us, sharing comments with us, and I will put in Annie's information. Okay, have a good evening, Annie.
Good evening. Good night, everyone.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.